So what is drug protein binding? It is nothing but the binding happens between the body proteins with the drug after the administration process. And because of which what happens, many things can change. Many things can change. It can affect the distribution, it can affect the elimination, or it can even affect the therapeutic action. So a lot of things can happen because of the drug protein binding. That's the reason we need to understand about the drug protein binding. And when we tell protein, it can be the plasma protein also, or it can be the tissue protein also. And this drug protein binding is a complex form. A simple definition is it's a complex form between the protein and the drug, which may be reversible or irreversible process. But most of the time, remember it is the reversible process. It's never, very rarely it happens the irreversible process. Irreversible, I can just tell you at this time, is it prolongs. The binding will be for a very longer period of time, because of which it can result in the toxic effect also. And that is mainly because of the chemical activation of the drug and results in the strong bonding, covalent bonding. In case of reversible, it is the weak bonding which happens because of the van der Waals force, hydrogen bond or the van der Waals force. So coming to the plasma proteins, I have already briefed about all this. Yesterday there was a mistake in this name, the second protein name. It's alpha acid glycoprotein. So rectify that when if you at all you written wrong, seen yesterday's presentation. So it's albumin, alpha acid glycoprotein, lipoproteins, and transprotein. These are the different types of proteins which are present in the blood. And comparatively among all this, albumin is the one which is present in the higher concentration. Okay. So this albumin, every protein has its own unique structure and unique specificity towards a particular substrate. In our case, the substrate is the drug molecule. Fine. So the albumin, it is mainly present in the plasma, but also you can expect it to be present in the extracellular fluid, that is interstitial fluid, skin and the muscles. Since it's a major concentration, the maximum concentration is in the plasma, it plays a very important role because most of the drug has the affinity towards the plasma albumin. It has a binding capacity with the most of the drug. But I'm telling here, not that all the drug can bind to the proteins. There are drugs which can be categorized as protein binding drugs and the non-protein binding drugs, which doesn't bind at all to the protein. So 60% of the albumin concentration, whatever present in the plasma, that 60% of that is present in the interstitial fluid in comparison with the plasma albumin. Means, as I said, it's present in the interstitial space also. So 60% whatever protein is present, albumin protein in interstitial space, 60% of that is compared to that of the plasma albumin concentration. With respect to the numerical value, it is 3.5% to 5.5% its concentration. See, this percentage, whatever is being shown here, it is with respect to all other components which are present in the blood. As we all know, the blood also contains erythrocytes, so many other types of cells also. So compared to that, the concentration, whatever we are mentioning, or the overall protein components, when you compare with the overall component percentage, no, this is the percentage which is present in the plasma. Okay. So the most required information for us is, it's also called as human serum albumin, HSA, human serum albumin. And there are many types of binding sites might be present in a protein. When we talk about a protein, it has many types of protein binding sites, and this many types may be of many number. Okay, so type 1, type 2 are the major one, which is playing its important role for most of the drug, because it's the major binding site which is present in the human serum albumin. And with respect to these two sites, the warfarin, which binds to the site called as oxycodone binding site. Okay, so the site 1 and site 2, like this, there is a chance that same drug can bind to the both the sites also, or the different drugs can bind to the different sites. It's like, it depends on the specificity. So whatever the examples you are reading here, it is specific example with respect to that particular site 1 and the site 2 site. They're nothing but called as human serum albumin sites. Okay, and there are even other site called as the oxycodone site, where particularly the warfarin binds. and that's why it's called as warfarin binding site also. And where this warfarin is very specific to this particular site. The next one is the alpha acid glycoproteins. So comparatively very less compared to the albumin. And there are varieties. Among this, if you remember, I think I forgot to change this beta. So alpha, beta, gamma. This reminds you the immunoglobulins, if you remember. Alpha, beta, gamma. Fine. So this alpha acid glycoproteins are of these varieties specific to the basic drug, and human serum albumin was specific to the acidic drug. That's what. That is, the weak acidic drug are very much specific to the human serum albumin, and the weak base are specific to the alpha, that is acid glycoproteins, the cationic drugs they are called as. And this alpha glycoproteins, sorry, this acid glycoproteins are of varieties, which is designated as alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, and the gamma globulins. So every protein has its own functionality. Okay. So we are not going again in detail about individual proteins. Actually, there are a lot of subclassification among these individual proteins again. So we are not going into detail. So as a part of the drug protein binding, we are just going to get we're getting the idea that there are varieties of proteins which are present in the plasma, and they are of different types. Okay, only that much knowledge is enough for us to understand with respect to the subject what we are studying. So there are different specificity of every acid glycoproteins. Like as you can see examples here, alpha 1 is specific to the steroid drugs or cortisone. There are the examples of the steroids. Fine. And same here, alpha 2 globulin are specific to, they are the binding sites for the many of the vitamins A, D, E, K. Same here, beta 1 globulin binds to the ferrous. Like this, there are very specific. They have the specific binding site to which that particular substrate. The substrate can be the nutrient also. The substrate can even be the drug molecule also. Fine. Same with the beta 2 globulin specific to the carotenoids. So there are some many other examples also. So and gamma globulin are very specific to antigen. That is antigen antibody, whatever you remember. The same thing. It's alpha globulin here. So like this, the acid glycoprotein is also another type of protein which is present in the plasma. There is a possibility of the question where you can expect the 5 marks to discuss about the plasma proteins, which plays its role during the or drug protein, that is protein drug binding process. So that then you are supposed to elaborate on individual protein and then write it, make it for the 5 marks answer. The next one is the lipoproteins, and there are varieties here, like all the short forms already you know, low density lipoprotein, high density lipoprotein, same thing, it's one and the same. It is mainly responsible for transport of the plasma lipids. Okay. So and binds to lipoproteins when albumin is saturated. See this, if you read the sentence, that means the first protein which actually take part in the drug protein binding is the albumin. Okay. And if that albumin is saturated, if it is binded with all its sites are occupied, then only you can expect that drug, if at all it has specificity towards the lipoprotein, it will start binding to the lipoproteins. So fine. So, but it's a very rare thing which happens, drug where it binds to the lipoproteins, but there is a possibility that depends on the dose of the drug. If the drug has both specificity towards the albumin and the lipoprotein, or albumin in the, or the acid glycoproteins. So if you just keep them in the sequence with respect to specificity, the albumin actually will be prominent one, where the drug binds to the albumin first. After it gets saturated only, next it goes to the next one. So like this in the sequence. So it is mainly this lipoproteins doesn't have much important role in the drug protein, but as I said, see, depends on the dose of the drug, and if the dose can saturate the albumin, then there is a probability, or there is a chance that the drug can bind to the lipoprotein if at all it has specificity towards the lipoprotein. Again, the drug protein binding is structural specific to each other. As I told, all the drug cannot bind to all the proteins. They have the specificity towards the counterpart, that is the proteins. So though this erythrocyte is not a protein, It is one of the cell which is present in the blood. There are even cases where you get to see that this drug binds to even the erythrocytes. Okay, so it binds to both endogenous and exogenous compounds, and exogenous compounds coming in and going out. That's what I told you previously also. It occupies 45% of the blood. Major component of the blood is the erythrocytes. But there are drugs, as you can see there, phenytoin, phenobarbital, amobarbital. These have some specificity towards the erythrocytes. Means erythrocytes had some cellular components which to which the drug can go and bind. So compared to the plasma water in the ratio 4:2. So it binds to, so more amount of this drug can be, you can expect to be attached to the erythrocytes than in the plasma water. That in the sense free form of the, this drugs is very less compared to that of the bonded form of the same drug with the erythrocytes. Okay, it's not a protein binding here, but it is the erythrocyte bonded drugs they are called as. Even that can result in the decrease in the volume of distribution. Not only the drug protein binding will decreases the volume of distribution, but also it will, the drug bonded to the erythrocytes can also result in decrease in the volume of distribution, which we cannot neglect. Fine, though the chapter talks about the drug protein binding, even this has to be kept in mind that erythrocytes can also result in disturbing the volume of distribution. But drug binding to plasma albumin decreases RBC binding of the drug. But if the specificity of the drug is more towards albumin, definitely its binding to the erythrocytes will automatically decrease. So the phenytoin has a greater affinity to the RBC. This is an example. Only 25% of the drug is present in the blood cells and 75% remains in plasma since it binds to the plasma albumin. See, remains in plasma means not in the free form. This is actually in the plasma, it is bonded to the albumin protein. Okay. So among the 100% of the phenytoin, 25% has specificity, 25% can bind to the erythrocytes and the remaining 75% can bind to the albumin. So you can understand here, even that depends on the specificity of the drug molecule towards either to the erythrocytes or towards the plasma, that is albumin. Okay, depending on that, the percentage of the binding will also vary. So the next subtopic of the drug protein binding is the factors affecting. In every chapter, there is always one of the we are going to study in detail subtopic called as the factors affecting the drug protein. So it's factors affecting the particular process. Even in the absorption, we learned factors affecting the absorption, like physicochemical properties, formulation factors, processing factors, anatomy and physiological factors. Okay, those are the factors with respect to absorption chapters. Same with the distribution also, the factors affecting the distribution, the blood flow rate, the tissue volume, the tissue affinity, or the tissue permeability, all that are the factors affecting the distribution. Same with the protein drug binding also, you need to study in detail the factors affecting the drug protein binding. So the drug itself is one of the factor with the physical chemical property of the drug and the concentration of the drug. See, these are the the factors, sub-factors of the first factor, that is the drug itself. It is a physicochemical property of the drug, the hydrophilic, lipophilic, acidic, basic, all that comes into picture. Next is the concentration, how much amount of the drug is present. Okay, more the amount of the drug, more binding you can expect. Less the amount, less binding, unless until the saturation happens. The next one is the protein. And when you talk about the protein, as such, there are varieties of proteins present. Okay. Then other than the types of the protein, the quantity, how much amount of the proteins are available in the plasma or available in the tissue also. See, this factors affecting drug protein binding, whatever I'm highlighting here, is applicable for both the plasma protein as well as the tissue protein. Don't think that is specifically we are talking the factors affecting the plasma proteins. It is just generally factors affecting the drug protein binding. That's all. Okay. So in that case, the protein is the second factor. In that, the quantity of the protein, How much is available for the drug protein binding is important. The next one is the quality. Yeah. So maybe till now we never use this word, the quality, but here it comes into picture, the quality word. The quality or the physical chemical nature of the protein synthesis, or sorry, synthesized, means that anyway I'll be explaining in future slide detail about individual factors. The next one is the affinity between the drug and the protein, which you cannot actually neglect. The next third and the fourth one is drug interaction. That is the interaction happening between the drug and drug. It's not a drug protein interaction. When you co-administer when you are combined drug therapy, you're doing two drugs are administered at the same time. How these two drugs can affect the protein binding of one drug, or the protein, how at each other, how they get affected because of the presence of both together. The last one is pathological condition, pathophysiological condition of the person or the patient. So like this, these are the major factors which you need to understand and be ready for 5 to 10 marks. Okay, so 10 marks question, even the distribution chapter you can expect, in absorption chapter also you can expect, even in the that is drug protein chapter also you can expect as a major question. So coming to the first one, as I told, we'll be discussing in detail one by one. That is a drug. So drug itself can affect the drug protein binding. So what are the properties of the drug? Is mainly the physical chemical properties of the drug and the concentration, that is the amount of the drug which you're going to administer. So protein binding is directly related to the lipophilicity. Just rewind back when we discussed about the albumin, when we discussed about the acid glycoprotein, there I told albumin are specific to the acidic drug and acid glycoproteins are specific to the basic drug. Okay, that you keep in mind. Other than that acidic or a basic drug type, the other property which can affect, that the physical chemical property which can affect the drug protein binding is lipophilicity. It is just a not that only lipophilic drug molecule can bind, but in comparison to hydrophilic molecule, hydrophilic drug molecule, lipophilic drug molecule has more protein binding tendency. So protein binding is directly related to the lipophilicity. So the slow absorption, they have come out with they have studied the experiment, they have done the protein binding experiments of the fluoxetine, which is attributed 95% is because of the lipophilicity binding. The 95% of protein binding, whatever is happening to this fluoxetine, it is mainly because of the lipophilicity nature of the drug. So they have, based on the experiments, they have also, that's what they have understood, that in comparison to the hydrophilic property of the drug molecule and the hydrophilic and lipophilic property of drug molecule, they got to know that lipophilic molecules have greater binding capacity than that of the hydrophilic molecules. So this sentence you know already, anionic or acidic drug have more affinity towards the human serum albumin, and the cationic or the basic drug have more affinity towards the, that is, alpha acid glycoproteins. So this is overall the drug itself as one of the factor which can affect, in which the first one is physical chemical property. In the physical chemical property, more the lipophilicity, more the binding capacity of the drug, and the next one is acidic drug towards the HSA, and the basic drug is towards the acid glycoproteins. So coming to the concentration, sorry, the extent of drug protein binding can change with both change in the drug and protein concentration. Remember this, both, either the change in the drug concentration or change in the protein concentration in the body, both of them can have the effect on the binding process. Okay, so concentration of the drug that is binding to HSA, that is human serum albumin, does not have much of an influence, as a therapeutic concentration of any drug is insufficient to saturate it. When you read this sentence carefully, that means when we decide the amount, dose of the drug to be administered into the body, and that dose you would have calculated based on the elimination rate of the drug, that is T half of the drug, and what is the concentration required to be reached, what is the MEC, what is the minimum toxic concentration, all the details we'll have about a drug molecule, and based on that only we'll decide about the dose of the drug. And generally what they have observed is whatever the dose of the drug they would have fixed uh, for the particular therapeutic purpose, no, that dose of the drug which generally will not cause the saturation of the albumin. So the concentration of the drug that binding HSA does not have much of an influence, as a therapeutic concentration of any drug is insufficient to saturate it. So therapeutic concentration of most of the drug which has a capacity to bind to the human serum albumin is not sufficient to saturate. In the sense, why it is so important for us to know this, because if the drug is getting binded to the protein, so for example, the dose whatever you would have calculated, that is the dose actually considering all this factor. When I know some 10 to 20% of the drug is getting binded to the human serum albumin, it is having that much binding capacity, then I have to consider that loss of the drug happening because of the protein drug binding, because the drug is not reaching to the therapeutic site. It might get freed from the protein later on, but when for the action to exhibit, the drug concentration should be sufficient enough to be present in the therapeutic site. So if that is not present after the administration, you're not going to get the therapeutic action. So that's why they would have calculated the dose such that they will take care of this binding also. So, but generally what I observed is this HSC means the saturation, to make the human serum albumin to get saturated, it is not possible to have, it is not possible with any of the therapeutic concentration. Means it has so many binding sites, so many number of binding sites. So it's not very easy to saturate the human serum albumin. Okay. So concentration of the drug that binds to alpha acid lipoprotein is affected by change in the concentration of the drug. In the sense, the binding, when I compare the second sentence with the third sentence, this alpha acid lipoprotein can easily get saturated. So that depends on the concentration. A slight change in the amount of the drug we are administering into the body can result change in the saturation. In the sense, the free drug, there will be change in the free drug concentration available to cross the systemic circulation. So slight change in case of the first one, a slight change in the concentration doesn't have a much effect. Okay. And the next one, that is in case of alpha acid lipoprotein, a small change in the concentration, there is a chance that there is a chance that the free drug availability will be high. Okay. So even that is also very important. Unnecessarily the free drug availability increases, that can result in the toxicity of the drug. Okay. So look at the example of lidocaine. Therapeutic concentration of lidocaine can saturate the alpha acid lipoprotein with which it binds as a concentration. Okay, with which it binding as a concentration age is much less in comparison to the HSA in the blood. Means the lidocaine, whatever is, it has a binding capacity towards the alpha acid lipoprotein also. Also, it has a capacity towards the human serum albumin. But it can easily saturate the alpha acid lipoprotein, but is compared to that of the human serum albumin in the blood. See, everything, this binding study, whatever we are understanding with respect to any drug molecule, no, it has impact on the availability of the drug at the therapeutic site. That's why we need to have, whenever you refer any article online, when you refer any article, drug protein binding of any particular drug, when you search, no, you'll get an idea. Like they will specifically, like those are called as kinetic aspects. They will mention very clearly the percentage, binding percentage of the drug to that protein is this one, 90%, 80%, 60%. All the details they would have specified. So, okay, that specification is important when we decide about the dose of the drug. Okay, they would have come out with those values after doing extensive animal experiment studies, or any other in vitro method also they would have adopted, or maybe the in vivo method also. So whatever the method they would have adopted, but they would have come, definitely they would have come with the value, that is 90, 80, 60, whatever they would have mentioned. The next factor is the protein. The first one is actually it is a drug, and in the drug, physicochemical properties of the drug. In that, it is the lipophilicity, and the acidic and the basic nature of the drug. The second is the concentration of the drug in the body, because that concentration has influence on the saturation capacity of the drug. That saturation, whether it can saturate or not, that information is dependent on the concentration of the drug. The next one is the protein, and in that protein, the first one is the quantity of the protein, and second one is the quality of the protein. So coming to that protein, first one, remember the protein drug binding is follows non-linear kinetics, that is mixed order kinetics. So similar to that of your active transport mechanism, if the transporters get saturated with the drug molecule, the curve bends parallel to the x-axis, the straight line. If you remember the graph, it doesn't go straight. After a certain time, it takes the bend, which is parallel to the x-axis. Same with the protein binding also. As the protein concentration increases, the percent of the drug bond increases to a maximum level, unless until it gets saturated. Once that saturation happens, it becomes non-linear. So it is overall, it follows a mixed order kinetics, which is also called as a non-linear kinetics in most cases, because percent of drug bond is dependent on the concentration of both the drug and the protein in the plasma. So as the concentration of the protein increases, the protein drug binding also increases, or as the concentration of the drug, in keeping one as constant. You have to keep either the drug as constant, that is fix the amount of the drug, or you fix the amount of the protein. With respect to any of them, the either increase or decrease in any of them will increase or decrease the binding capacity, binding process. Okay. This concentration, why do we feel like, you might feel, why the concentration of protein is unnecessarily changed? Of course, it's a protein. So this protein can be affected, or its amount or the nature of the protein can be easily affected by the disorders also. So that's the reason we are stressing upon the concentration. So plasma protein concentration is controlled by a number of variables. It depends on the protein synthesis method which is happening inside the body, the mechanism, and the protein catabolism, how fast it is getting catabolized. Okay. And the next one is distribution of albumin between intravascular and extravascular space, excessive elimination of the plasma protein, particularly albumin. So the concentration of the protein in the body depends on the sub-factors, that is, depends on the mechanism of protein synthesis. It depends on the protein catabolism. Hope you know that catabolism, anabolism, whatever you learned, same thing here. And next is the distribution between intravascular and extravascular, and excessive elimination of the plasma protein, particularly the albumin. So any of this can definitely affect the plasma protein concentration. Means anything which can disturb these sub-factors will definitely disturb the plasma protein concentration. Anything goes wrong in the synthesis, there's a chance of protein concentration increase or decrease. Okay. Same with the catabolism. Same with anything goes wrong with the capillary membrane, there's a chance the distribution of albumin will be affected. Anything problem with the kidney, there is a chance that unnecessarily the plasma protein might get eliminated. So like this, you have to correlate. So these are the examples, will give you a little idea or a better picture of whatever I was just telling now. How can the protein concentration will change in the body? It can happen because of the pathological conditions. For example, like liver disease, trauma surgery, burn, renal diseases. The major disorders, diseases which can affect the kinetics of the drug is the liver and the renal disease. So anything goes wrong here, I think I told many times before also. So anything goes, any disease associated with the liver and the renal, you have to be carefully monitored, because the dose of the drug, whatever we are administering, it will start acting differently because of the disease associated with the renal and the liver. So you look at this example, liver diseases, there is a chance that decrease in the protein synthesis. Okay, trauma increases in protein synthesis. Like this, every pathological condition has the effect on the amount of the protein. Look at this burn. So it might not disturbing the protein synthesis, but it is disturbing the distribution. We know that maximum amount of albumin protein is present in the plasma, and 60% of that is present in the interstitial space fluid. So because of the disruption of the burn result in what? Disruption in the capillary membrane. Capillary membrane disturbance, it becomes more porous, in the sense the leakage of the plasma will happen, and the albumin unnecessarily goes and accumulates in the interstitial space. So that also will affect the concentration of the albumin in the plasma. Same with the renal disorder. What happens? There may be a chance that protein will get unnecessarily eliminated out of the plasma because of the renal disorder due to the glomerular filtration process. So like this, concentration of the drug can be affected by many of the pathological conditions. Coming to the quality, how the quantity is affected by the pathological condition, same thing you can imagine with the quality of the protein synthesis also. So altered, why the quality? In the sense, remember, protein synthesis is usually happens in sequence. Primary structure, secondary structure. It's nothing but the amino acid sequence. So initially it forms the polypeptide chain, and that polypeptide chain is not called as the protein unless until it will start folding itself into the required dimensions, in the required form, tertiary structure it is called as. A matured protein is called as a functional protein unless until that functional protein is not formed because of the proper folding. Though the protein is there, it is non-functional in nature, or it might start acting differently. So the protein synthesis, the quality of the protein depends on like how the folding would have happened during the protein synthesis. So this can get altered due to the change in the amino acid sequence. One or two amino acid sequence in the peptide chain can alter the entire functionality of the protein. The proteins might start behaving abnormally, or it might be just an inactive. It can just become a protein. It can form as a protein, but it is not, doesn't have any functionality. So just any change in the amino acid sequence, and this amino acid sequence correlate with the gene, all the at that level you can imagine anything goes wrong in the gene sequence, that can actually affect the amino acid sequence, and that can affect the protein synthesis. So other disorders, the diseases which can affect is chronic liver disease and the renal disease, like uremia, may cause an alteration in quality of the plasma protein synthesis. So we cannot go in detail like what are the diseases which can affect, but just to remember, any pathological condition there's a possibility that it can affect the protein quality also. Not only the concentration of the protein, but also the quality of the protein is very, very important point. Just taken from the internet as a just additional information. As you can see that there are so many examples you can see here, like increase in the concentration of the protein, okay, or decrease